you'll lose some vertical thrust, and to counter it, you wind off the throttle. Bit of fun, I like it. Okay, now, fantastic job, obviously. Sometimes you just wonder, how you use this, but what I really think got me there was being almost creative from the beginning when I was at uni and trying to sort of get involved in little extra projects that were going in competitions and things, because you don't get those sort of opportunities when you're out there to just take part in a competition where you could learn something. My advice is do be creative. If you have lots of ideas, chuck them into a book of your own, and don't just write them off straight away. Have a think about them, because you'll find they may actually generate something that's no one has really thought of just yet. In this case, the idea of a jetpack already existed. However, just Glenn thought about a different way of doing it, something that gave another bonus to a potential buyer. That's obviously it's driven this project to where it is now. Okay, so give your ideas some decent thought and never write them off. Take all the opportunities you can to upskill yourself. While you're at uni, this is the best time to do it. You're already doing lots of assignments, I can understand that. I've been there before, it wasn't long ago either. But when competitions come along, such as the Spark competition, you have the opportunity to learn things that you won't actually maybe get when you're just doing engineering at uni. So yeah, give them a go. Learn from others' successes and failures. If you've got a potential business idea and you know there's something out there sort of similar, like let's say it's a tourism venture, go and look at other tourism ventures that started up. In this case it was I suppose you could say a recreation vehicle. Glenn based his business model on something similar to Bombardier who make the Sea-Doo and Ski-Doo, which is basically a snowmobile and jet skis, and now they're building trains, planes, everything. It's a huge company. I think it's the third largest manufacturer of commercial aircraft in the world, behind Boeing and Airbus. I think that might be sound about right. Yeah. So obviously, if we can follow their lead, then yeah, it's going to be pretty safe. I think. So be passionate about your ideas, especially if you end up in a situation where you are delivering a presentation to somebody. Be passionate, because the people watching will see that, and they'll get sucked into it just because you're passionate about it. Alright, now a bit of background on me. Basically, I was an undergrad just 3 years ago. Okay. While I was at uni, I did a competition called Entree, which is the Canterbury University version of the Spark Challenge. Okay. That sort of got me into sort of innovative and thinking about business, that kind of thing. And then obviously finished my engineering degree, and then went on to work for Martin Aircraft Company, and now looking after the design team. Now, the entrepreneurship competition, what I got out of it was an understanding of the path to commercialising ideas. Okay, there's also, as I mentioned before, it's an opportunity to learn something that you may not get just by going to engineering school and finishing that and then moving on. It gives you sort of an insight to the commerce and that kind of thing. So you get skills in marketing, a bit of fundraising, and also financial forecasting, especially if you get into the later stages of the competition where you start to have to formulate business plans. I'm assuming there's someone from you now, so yeah, cool. I found this sort of stuff really just over the top of my head. I wasn't really into economics and stuff, but it gave me a chance to just have a dabble into it, just to sort of semi-understand it. With the idea that I had, I ended up getting through to a finals position, and although I didn't win, I've still got that idea, and I'm probably going to revisit it sometime. But in the meantime, I found a job which, yeah, gave me a bit of fun anyway. So. Just by being there and doing that sort of thing, you give yourself a bit of reputation. People, everyone knew me as that guy that came up with that crazy idea, and just doing these sort of competitions and things, being a bit more innovative, and that sort of spread. People start to recognise that, especially sort of a couple of lecturers who sort of offered to help out and things, and just by doing that sort of thing, you actually get to meet the right people, people that can really introduce you to possible opportunities, because those opportunities you've got to take them. They don't always happen. And yeah, so I would basically, to sum that up, I'd recommend if any of you have any sort of ideas, you want to sort of just try, see what people think of them, actually put them into this competition. I'm assuming there's sort of non-disclosure agreements, that kind of thing, so your idea is going to be safe. I know my idea still is, and it's a good chance to see what other people think, people completely external to you, and also just learn something from it. Cool. So just say a special thank you to Spark guys. This is fantastic being invited up here to speak tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you very much to the audience for coming along tonight. Yeah, got any questions? How far away? Cool.
So does anyone have any questions?
Yep, I'm down back. Right.
Were you hoping to put them for sale?
Look, so, sure. If someone wanted to buy one right now, we are taking deposits. We already have several deposits, so there is a waiting list. Just like any aircraft, there's usually a period where you pay a deposit, you sort of wait a bit for that machine to come out. Like recently released Cessna aircraft, I think it was. I think they've got orders from about 2 years ago, and they're still fulfilled those. But we'll deliver to customers. I personally say sort of just early next year. I think this year's starting to move on a bit too much, so there's a bit more work to do. Also, there's other business opportunities there too, but basically, if you want to buy one now, you could buy one. As far as get your name on the list.
How much?
100,000 US. 10% deposit though.
Does the pilot have to remain in that standing position while flying? Or?
Yes, we have toyed with the idea of perhaps supporting the pilot in a different way. When you're hanging like that, it is actually quite, it's not overly comfortable. You do actually tend to, as soon as you got the engine running, you actually sort of forget about all the harness and stuff, and you actually completely ignore it. But there is an option there to actually support the pilot underneath as well. So you may launch in that sort of stance, but then it sort of supports you like a climbing harness, like basically climbing harness. I mean, something sort of in between. But basically, ideally in this situation, what we are doing at the moment, we're flying vertically because that's still a jetpack rather than a. You're getting away. Yeah, you start to move towards that whole personal helicopter thing. If you start sitting in chairs and. So yeah, it's still jetpack styles anyway.
Just to continue on what you were saying before about the sort of the next step in getting into a saleable machine.
Sure.
What are the next stages of turning into a working prototype to a manufactured thing?
Yeah, good question. What we've got at the moment, I suppose, well, one of them is reliability, proven reliability to the point where someone can take that machine away and they can not really have to do anything to it and it'll still be flying a couple of months' time type thing at the minimum. I suppose when you're doing prototypes and things, what you end up going through is a stage where it's like a race car where you really do need to be looking at it every day and checking it over and maintaining it, that kind of thing. And that's obviously one thing we'll consider when we do deliver these to the customers. Have they got the people to look after it so that it's maintained and flown correctly? We'll obviously have people that will probably fly around the world and look after these machines to individual customers, but it's basically getting that reliability up. Fastening systems. Fastening systems in the aircraft usually have obviously lock wires, that kind of thing, anti-vibration sort of systems there, and we've got to do a bit of a swap over because at the moment everything's very prototype level where things are screwed on and stuff, but it's not the way to give it to the customer as an aircraft. So these are all things like that we're going to work on, improving it, and also actually getting it up in the sky, testing all the safety features like the parachute especially.
How high can you get, or what are you proposing to get?
Yep, design intent is to get, remember saying so 8,000 feet, I'd say 5,000 at this stage. Anyway, just because of density, the density drops quite significantly, and that's a huge, has a huge effect on this machine. Yeah, a bit of a double whammy really. You get less thrust from each fan, and you also have an engine that doesn't run as nice under lean rig conditions. So you basically go up until your density drops to the point where it just doesn't go up any further yet. But it definitely doesn't need, like we're flying well out of ground effect at that point. Once you're that high off the ground, you're not floating on a cushion of air at all. So you're well out of it. It's just more, if you get much lower though, you start to get sort of swirling around the control vanes and things like that. So there is sort of a minimum height you fly at, and at the moment we're sort of probably a little bit higher than those videos is what you'd call a maximum at this point in time, just